Lil Durk may be coming home and beating his murder case after his power attorney, Drew Finland, caught the feds with their pants down. Drew Finland just filed not one, but two motion to dismisses. Now, these motion to dismiss, both documents are completely different. On one motion to dismiss, he's tackling the indictment itself. On the other motion to dismiss, he's tackling the credibility of the prosecuting officers and their credentials to even serve. Yeah. He's attacking this indictment on all angles, and we're gonna cover it in this video. He has some compelling points, and some points are even ironclad. Before we can even discuss these motions to dismiss, you kind of have to understand what Lil Durk is being charged with. So the feds are alleging that Lil Durk instructed OTF members to go to California and even pay their way to California and instructed them to murder Quando Rondo, but they ended up murdering Quando Rondo's cousin, and there was a bounty on Quando Rondo's head, and that Lil Durk offered payment for the murder.
The rapper Lil Durk has been arrested and charged with a...
That shit crazy, bro. And then they went on that hit and didn't even hit the right person? That's crazy.
Murder for hire plot. The Chicago native, whose real name is Durk Banks, was arrested in Florida by the U.S. Marshals Service. The 32-year-old's arrest comes as 5 other people in Chicago were arrested in connection with the investigation. According to the complaint, Banks and his co-conspirators allegedly worked together to, quote, track, stalk, and attempt to murder a target at a Los Angeles gas station, firing at least 18 rounds into the person's vehicle, striking and killing a passenger in the car. Banks made his first court appearance this afternoon in Miami. Banks' lawyer asked for privacy after leaving court, telling ABC, quote, "We will not be commenting at this time."
I've read this indictment back and forth, and the evidence they have on Lil Durk isn't that great. Outside of rats or snitches or people who may be cooperating, there's not much on Lil Durk, and we are yet to see there are people cooperating. So the evidence they have on Lil Durk and why they believe that Lil Durk is the mastermind of all of this is because the members were OTF. Yeah. And Lil Durk texted the dude who was booking the flights for those dudes to go to California and ultimately commit the murder. He texted the dude, hey, don't book any flights under any names associated with me using my credit card. That right there is why they believe that Lil Durk is involved, because of that particular text. Oh, yeah. And they were able to use some vague gray area lyrics from Lil Durk songs and records and present it in front of a grand jury and get Lil Durk indicted based on those lyrics. But as we learned, some of the lyrics they used to indict Lil Durk were songs that they got producers testifying, yo, this song was made before like Quando Rondo's cousin's death. Like, this has nothing to do.
Oh, yeah, so they trying to use music against this nigga case and shit, but that's wild. Y'all ain't even got that much evidence. Y'all just got that text saying don't use my card and no flights or anything. Or his information. And they still did, didn't they? That's the crazy thing about it.
With that particular murder. And they try to get it dismissed off of that initially, but then the prosecutor says, hold on, they're acting like these songs that we made a mistake on is the only thing we have on him. No, we have all this other stuff, okay? I believe, my personal theory, that the prosecutors rushed to charge Lil Durk. Because initially they arrested all of Lil Durk homies, all 5. They arrested all 5. And they didn't arrest Lil Durk, but they had to rush to get a complaint done because Lil Durk was taking a flight out the country, and they wanted to make sure that Lil Durk don't get to escape. So Drew Finland, on the first motion to dismiss, before we get to the second one, but the first one, he had the same issue with exactly what I have an issue with, which is he believes the language is vague. He believes the prosecutors right now don't have their entire case done because they rushed to arrest Lil Durk to make sure Lil Durk don't escape.
Yeah.
And he would point out, yo, the language is vague. The prosecutors are not sticking to any theory. You have this man in jail claiming that he is a part of this murder for hire. But his role in the murder for hire is vague, is gray area, and yo, they're not sticking to a theory.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at what the accusation is or the language accusing Lil Durk of being a part of this murder for hire. Let's take a look at the indictment. This is the language from the first and the updated indictment. Now, peep it. It's very vague, okay? After the murder of Davon Bennett, which is DB, King Von, defendant Banks Durk made it clear in coded language that he would pay a bounty or monetary reward and or make payment to anyone who took part in killing Quantarano's cousin for his role in Davon Bennett's murder. But here's the thing, okay? Bounty or monetary reward and or payment to anyone who took part in killing TB. What does that mean? That's the feds leaving it open-ended because they don't even know the answer to their question. Or even with this instance.
Y'all got a nigga in jail right now and y'all got questions y'all don't even have answers to. Like, y'all don't even have full evidence. Like, y'all just trying to hold him down till y'all get everything. If he beat this case, bro, I feel like he should sue their ass. Because they ain't even have enough evidence to actually arrest this man. We got David. He's still out here after kidnapping and killing a little girl because they didn't have enough evidence. They ain't have enough evidence on Durk, but they still arrested him. It's crazy. And holding him in there until they find out everything. You see, a lot of stuff just don't make sense.
This right here, when they use language like at the direction of. So in the indictment, it would say, after learning of TB's location, at the direction of Lil Durk, defendants Wilson, Jones, Lindsay, and Houston, and co-conspirator 2 traveled from Chicago, Illinois to Los Angeles, California for the purpose of murdering TB. As alleged in counts 1 through 3 on August 19, 2022, at the direction of Lil Durk, defendants used 2 vehicles to track, stalk, and attempt to kill TB by gunfire. With respects to count 1, conspiracy to commit murder for hire, the indictment alleges at the direction of Lil Durk, defendant Grant will procure cars, ski masks, and firearms that will be used by co-conspirators to find, track, and kill TB. What does at the direction means? Did he text? Did he call? Did he let them know through someone else? Was there like somebody who was a middleman in this? What does at the direction means? Prosecutors is leaving it open-ended. Drew Finland has a sneaky suspicion. The reason why they're leaving it open-ended is so they can change their theory down the line. When they start to piece this together, or when like cooperating witnesses come forward, they can shift their theory so like around like whatever like cooperating witness they get to turn on Durk. Yeah. And Drew Finland is like, for example, the reason why they're not saying, hey, Lil Durk paid $100,000, or hey, Lil Durk offered musical contracts, Lil Durk offered to sign an OTF for this, they're not saying specifics because they don't know, right? Because if you say, hey, Lil Durk paid $100,000 for this hit, and you go down the line, and then one of your witnesses say, well, no, he paid $10 for this, right? Yeah. Or $20,000 for this. Well, now your theory is wrong.
Yeah,
now they can say, hold on, like, bro, like they don't even know what they're talking about. Or hey, Lil Durk paid us in record deal.
How y'all feel about this, chat? Let me know down below y'all thoughts on this. Y'all think they go free Durk? That's my question. Do y'all think they go free Durk, shorty?
And then down the line, one of the witnesses testified, oh no, Lil Durk gave us like OTF chains. It wasn't record deals, it was just chains. Well, now the entire case. You're right, so they're leaving it open-ended because they don't want to stick to nothing because they don't have nothing on Durk. Yeah. And Drew Finland is calling that out in the first motion to dismiss. Drew Finland writes in the motion to dismiss, this indictment is impermissibly vague. It leaves the defense to guess as to the government's theory of guilt. And it leaves the government free to change that theory as its cooperators' stories morph over time to meet the demands of a conviction. Because the indictment omits the factual particulars necessary to give Mr. Banks notice of the charges against him and to permit him to prepare his defense at trial, it fails to satisfy, they listed the actual law, and the 5th and 6th Amendment. Dismissal is warranted. As an alternative to dismissal, this motion seeks a bail of particular under Fed, blank, along with the 5th and 6th Amendment. It's obvious, but a bail of particulars is forcing the prosecutors to give a list of specifics. Yeah. What do you guys think Lil Durk paid? How did he pay? At what direction did he give? How did he give the direction? Through text, through call, through somebody else? Give the specifics on how y'all believe Lil Durk is a part of this.
No, facts.
I think prosecutors are going to fight tooth and nail to hell not to give no bill of particular because A, they don't know, and then two, if they do just stick to their best theory, they're not confident they could really like convict Lil Durk on this. It's too vague. It's too gray area. It makes no sense whatsoever. They will move on and they will say counts 1 and 2 allege that Lil Durk conspired to and participated in murder for hire. In other words, a murder as consideration for the receipt of and consideration for the promise and agreement to pay anything of pecuniary value or what the government calls a bounty. Defining anything of pecuniary value to include anything of value in the form of money, a negotiable instrument, a commercial interest, or anything else, the primary significance of which is an economic advantage. That's crazy. Like, that is insane.
That's wild, bro.
That's vague. Yo, imagine if this is a lot to get through, bro. If Lil Durk at any point took them out to eat and bought them a burger, hey, bro, that burger that filled up their stomach that allowed them to go to work the next day, that burger was their payment for this. Lil Durk offered them a burger to murder Quando.
Yeah, but that's crazy, bro. Anything that Durk had connections with, like he said, like if they went out to eat or something, he bought them something, and they'll use that burger as something to arrest Durk for. Like, they'll use anything, bro. They're trying to use anything to convict Durk for this murder, bro.
Drew Fillon is cooking right now. And the reason why it's important to list out the specifics, these are OTF members. These are dudes who've been around Lil Durk for a while. These are dudes who are around the label. These are dudes who had access to Lil Durk's credit card. These are dudes that got chains from Lil Durk, OTF chains. So you want to list out the specifics because Lil Durk has been taking care of his guys forever. And if we're just saying anything of value and you don't have any specific, well, you could intermingle the things that Lil Durk have done for his guys in the goodness of his heart over the last 3 years.
Yeah.
You could now intertwine that into this murder case and say, hey, haha, you see? He took him to Ice Bites and got him a bracelet. That right there was the payment for this murder. Yeah. Big Drew ain't going for that, man. Bro. And remember, I told y'all.
That's crazy, bro. Like, and the feds will do that, even though they don't know these niggas' life. Like, they actually do that for their homies and shit. Go buy their homie chain and shit. And if they see that he buying all them chains and shit, bro, the feds go throw all that on his back, shorty. And he gonna have to try to duck it. Which is weird to me, but when you get caught up in something like this, it gets serious, shorty.
About that at the direction scam as well. Well, Drew Fillon also addresses that as well, right? So Drew Fillon says, a similar deficiency plagues the at the direction of language that affects every count in the indictment. While the indictment alleges that the co-conspirators carried out various acts at the direction of Mr. Banks, flying to Los Angeles, tracking, stalking, and attempting to kill TB by gunfire, and procuring the firearms equipment used to do so, it fails to give any specifics.
Yeah.
When, where, and how, and to whom did Lil Durk give these alleged directions?
No,
to ensure the basic fairness of this trial, the defense is entitled to know. Given the vagueness of the indictment's bounty and at the direction of allegations, if the indictment is permitted to stand, a bill of particulars is warranted. Obviously, we just talked about that. Lil Durk requests a bill of particulars that reflects the theory upon which the grand jury rested its charging directions. And that gives Mr. Banks fair notice of the allegations against him. Specifically, we request the following information. The language that Mr. Banks allegedly used to convey his offer of a pecuniary bounty in exchange for the murder of TB, the nature of the item that Lil Durk is alleged to have offered and or delivered in exchange for the murder, the date, time, audience, and circumstances of the alleged bounty offer, the language used, date, time, audience, and circumstances related to at the direction of allegation in the indictment, the request is made under federal rule. That was just the first one. Drew Fillon hit them with a little teaser. Yeah. The second motion to dismiss?
Yeah, bro. If y'all, I feel like, me personally, Chad, I feel like Durk lawyer about to beat this case down. He about to beat this case down, shorty. These feds ain't about to be able to fight him. He got, like, you got to get all this evidence, bro. Y'all, I thought y'all had everything on this nigga. That's why he was locked up. But, like, I thought they had all the info on locking Durk up for good. He just had to fight to beat this case. No, they barely got shit. So he said the second, man, I know it's crazy.
Motion to dismiss.
I know it's crazy.
Boy, Drew Fillon ain't coming to play, bro. Drew Fillon dug up in on people's past, their history, and he found a clause that could get this entire thing thrown out. Because the indictment itself is particularly unconstitutional and should have never happened. Yeah. Drew Fillon did some digging, and he discovered that the U.S. Attorney Bilal Asali, who brought charges against Lil Durk, don't even have the authority to bring charges against Lil Durk.
Wow.
Drew Fillon is challenging the authority of Bilal Asali, and he believes because he don't have the authority, the charges must be dismissed.
No,
in the second motion to dismiss, Drew Fillon says, hey, listen.
Ain't this illegal, shorty? You can't be doing that, bro. Ain't that illegal, chat? Somebody let me know something, bro. Because if you're not able to do that, shouldn't that be illegal? If this man in jail? This case should be dismissed for sure. For sure. Tap in, bro. It's getting serious.
This case got to be dismissed, right? Because this U.S. attorney, okay, I have a problem with his authority. So Drew Fillon says the designation of Bilal Asali as U.S. attorney for the Central District of California violates the appointment clause of the U.S. Constitution. We will get to what that means a little later. Asali lacks authority to conduct the prosecution as he was not lawfully appointed as a federal officer. We will get to that later. Continuing to fund Asali, who was not lawfully appointed, and his officer violates the appropriation clause. Asali does not meet the criteria to be an appropriated acting official under the Federal Vacancies Reform Act. Asali's service as U.S. attorney exceeded the 120-day limit. We will get to what that means. Now, that's very important, by the way. The 120 limit is very important. You're probably just as confused as me when I first heard it. It's like, what do you mean the U.S. attorney don't have the authority to charge Lil Durk? So what happened is, there was a U.S. attorney who was serving. They retired. They resigned. Right? They moved on to greener pastures. It was vacant. Bilal was appointed to take their place, but there was a problem with that. Yeah. And Drew Fillon spells it all out. The Attorney General appointed Bilal as interim U.S. attorney, effective April 2nd, 2025, following the resignation of Martin Estrada on January 17th, 2025. Now, under 28 U.S.C. 546, an interim U.S. attorney appointed by the Attorney General may serve no later than 120 days after appointment. That's because the 120 days is used for them to find a permanent replacement. Yeah. Right? But Asali's 120-day term began April 2nd, 2025 and expired July 30th, 2025. Public records indicated that the judges of the district declined to make an appointment under 546D, but no order or announcement was made to extend Bilal's term. Now, here's where Bilal begins to do something tricky. Unethical, damn near illegal, and damn near unconstitutional.
See, I knew it was illegal.
Despite the expiration of his 120-day limit on July 30th, Asali continued to serve through a series of maneuvers initiated on July 29th, 2025, including his appointment as a special attorney and then as a first assistant, followed by a purported resignation. So this dude resigned and then redesignated himself as acting U.S. attorney under the Federal Vacancy Reform Act. Now, here's why those maneuvers is kind of crazy and is unconstitutional. Bilal was not qualified to be the U.S. attorney without the Senate confirmation because he was never a special attorney, nor was he a first assistant. Yeah. So what he did was to bypass the Senate confirmation and to stay in place as U.S. attorney. A day before his 120-day interim was up, he resigned. And then he was
Oh,
designated
what the-
as a special attorney and a first assistant. Then that allowed him to stay in place permanently as the U.S. attorney, bypassing the Senate confirming him.
Chat, bro, they really had me thinking it was over for Lil Durk. But I ain't go back. They really had me thinking it was real life over for Lil Durk. Like, from the looks of it, what I'm seeing is this nigga's coming home. Dear Omicron coming home, chat. What the fuck?
Appointment clause requires that the president nominates and, with the advice and consent of the Senate, appoint all officers of the United States, including U.S. attorneys. Asali, who was a private citizen and political ally, was appointed by the Attorney General without the Senate confirmation, which is not permitted unless he takes power as the U.S. attorney under the Federal Vacancies Reform Act. And what that means is this. Asali does not meet the criteria under the Federal Vacancies Reform Act to serve as an acting U.S. attorney. He was neither an already in place first assistant, a Senate confirmed officer in another role, nor an already in place senior official in a U.S. attorney's office, making his action as an acting officer invalid. Which is why he resigned before his 120-day interim limit was up to leave it vacant for 1 day. Appointed himself, the Attorney General then appointed him as first assistant or next in line to be U.S. attorney and special attorney, then giving him the rights under the Federal Vacancy Reform Act to then take seat as the U.S. attorney.
What the?
Completely unconstitutional. It's a shame. These people bypass the Senate confirmation to give a political ally the U.S. attorney office.
Yeah.
So now Drew Finland is saying, hold on, that's not allowed. You can't do this. No, he don't have the authority to act as the U.S. Attorney General. Like, y'all can't just do this, bro. Like, this, people, this is a democracy here, bro. Like, this is not a dictatorship.
Yeah.
You don't just get to put one of your allies in the seat at the U.S. Attorney Office and then through sham maneuvers keep him permanently to maneuver away from the Senate confirmation. Again, if you guys don't understand, he has to go to Senate and Senate has to confirm him and deem him eligible to be the U.S. Attorney. They bypass all of that.
Oh, yeah, it's over, bro. They about to be sick that they about to let this man come home because it's over, bro. Doing illegal things and stuff like this, bro. He wasn't even supposed to be arrested, to be honest. If you really think about it, Durk was not supposed to be arrested, bro.
Oh, no, this is crazy, people. This is crazy, man.
He was supposed to be
I don't know how Drew Finland found this. I don't know who put him on. But Lil Durk may be coming home, bro.
Yeah.
Oh, Durk is coming home, man. Durk, I don't know how you did this, Durk, but Durk is coming home, bro.